Welcome to Just Thinking. I'm back doing what I've learned to do. Just think. So today, I kind of want to introduce you to some concepts and some things that led me and helped me through me changing my way of thinking and becoming the person that I am today. It took a lot of work, but the fact that it helped is the reason why I would like to share. And my channel is Just Thinking, and this is what I've done all my life. But just because you think, it doesn't mean that you're going to make the right decisions, and it doesn't mean that life is just going to be grand for you just because you think. A lot of people say, "Come on, man, you wasn't thinking." Like, people may be thinking, but what are they thinking about? What is their thinking based on? And so what I want to talk about today is cognitive behavior. Okay. And this has to do with our thinking behavior, right? And so you can change a lot of things in your life just based on the way you think. Your life can be much, much different if we were to think differently, right? So a lot of people, they have their ways. You say some people are stuck in their ways. And a lot of people have their morals, they have their values, they have their beliefs. And your thinking is based on all of those things. So the thing that your thinking is based on is core belief, right? So whatever your core belief is, or beliefs, because there's plural, whatever your core beliefs are, then that's how you're going to view the world. That's how you're going to, take action. That's how you're going to decide whether to do something or whether not to do something, whether to talk to this person that way or talk to this person that way. You're based on your core beliefs. Okay, now what are core beliefs? So core beliefs are beliefs that we have. Basically, if you think of leaves on the ground, or you think of that money game where you're standing in this box and all the money is flying around, everything that you've grabbed and taken in and held to your heart as a standard or as a moral or as a belief throughout your years, then that forms your core beliefs, right? So, for example, growing up in the Black culture, right? Boy, don't ask me why. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, well, whatever your parents say, that goes. You don't need to ask why. You just need to roll with it, right? That now turns into a core belief for me, believing that a child doesn't need to know why, right? I'm the authority figure, I'm the parent, so that goes, right? So that's just an example of a core belief. Or another core belief, some people believe that everybody is against them. Why? It's based on their experiences that they've basically conjured up in their head, and then it got stuck to their heart. And this is something that they always believe. Oh man, I can't trust old boy, or I ain't gonna never be able to get ahead, or I can't get this, or I can't get that because this person is against me. That's a core belief, right? That you've conjured up throughout your experiences, and now this is something that you stand on, right? And there's so many core beliefs. It's unlimited. I can't, just pinpoint. But I do know that there were core beliefs that I had. And the thing is, you have to recognize that these core beliefs, certain ones, because we have good core beliefs that need to stay in place. They need to continue to be in your moral banks or in your belief banks. But then we have some that are flawed, right? And that's when we go into flawed thinking. But I just wanted to kind of give like an introduction, because I'm going to continue to make videos on this, and we're going to work through this together in order to help us change some flaws in our cognitive behavior, because thinking is everything, right? If you want to change, you have to change your thinking. If you want to change your situation, you have to change your thinking, right? Because if you're looking in the mirror, right, and that mirror does not give off the proper reflection, then there is no way that you can correct anything, right? Because if that mirror is not, let's say if you're looking at your face and you're trying to see if you have something in your eye, but that mirror is not reflecting clearly, then you're never going to be able to see what's in your eye, right? So what we have to first do is look into the mirror. And then once we look into this mirror, then we say, oh, okay, that's something that I need to work on, right? That's something that I need to change within my thinking, right? And so I want to go back to core beliefs, because that's the very beginning, right? You have to start thinking about some things that shaped your way of thinking, right? And this is how people can continue to be racist, throughout generation and generation and generation, because it's been embedded in them from the time that they were born, right? So they seen their mother or father or relatives have a hatred towards this type of people, person, attitude, character, culture, right? And so then they pick up on that same thing as well. And it's like, well, dang, I mean, grandma, she didn't like the type of people. And then you begin to believe the same thing. And so now you're teaching this to your kids, and then generation to generation to generation, you now have created, not even created, but continued a pattern of racism towards certain people, right? So you picked up these core beliefs, right, based on what you were taught. And you always thought it was correct, right? Until something happens, a misunderstanding, and now you have an understanding, and you're like, okay, well, maybe that's not the proper way to think, right? And so when we think about, like, I only can really talk about myself. So when we think about, like me growing up, right? You see your uncle, or you see, a male figure in the community or whatever, and they be like, what's up, boy? How you doing, man? How many girlfriends you got now, boy? And so then in your mind, you're like, you really don't realize it, but later on, you're like, dang, what I'm saying? He said, how many girlfriends do I got? So in your mind, you're thinking it's okay to have multiple girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, oh, dang, I need more than one. So now it starts to it starts to get into your thinking. You're influenced by that now, and you're like, dang. And now that creates a player mentality. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, whoa, I'm supposed to have multiples. They always ask me, how many girlfriends do I have? You know what I'm saying? And so now, like I said, it's a core belief now that I need multiples, and so it sticks to you. And it wasn't nothing that they weren't even aware of, right? That was just something that, I want to show love or create a conversation. How's your grades? How many girlfriends you got? Right? So they weren't aware of what they were instilling in me, but that's just how it works. It's the same thing with our parenting. It's the same thing with people who look up to us, right? We're only going to feed them what we think is right. But what if what we think is right is not necessarily right, right? What if that core belief came from or was poured into, right, by somebody whose core beliefs wasn't aligned either, right? So this is just something that I want to bring up, something for us to continue to dive into, because thinking can change things, right? The way you think can change the situation around you and it can change and stop you from doing a lot of things that you may have to pay for later, right? You may hurt a lot of people. You may hurt yourself, loved ones, and things of that nature. And I'm not talking about physically, but I'm talking about emotionally, mentally, right? So cognitive behavior, that's the behavior we're going to speak on. Like I said, I'll make a series of videos that has to do with this because, I mean, we started off as empty glasses, right? And throughout life, you were poured into, right? And you were poured into, and some things you poured back out, and some things you held into your cup, right? So you got to reevaluate those things and see if those things were detrimental to your growth or if those things allowed your growth to excel, right? So thank you for watching. Hopefully I didn't bore you guys, but cognitive behavior, right, is what we're going to be diving into. We have to change our way of thinking in order to change our behavior, okay, and the environment around us. But God bless. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, right? And I'm going to keep coming with it. Just thinking.